Holler if you hear me, and welcome to tonight's edition of Art Uncensored. It is the top of the hour, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we are here and together to go and draw page 13 to issue 5 of my comic Encrypted. And as you can see here, we've got the whole thing to go in ink tonight, because today was a day where I went and crammed down to go and do multiple pages today. Yeah, to catch up with the lost time over the time lost in this month because of my head cold after Christmas. Today is one of those days where I'm finishing 2 pages so I can catch up and be able to have the comic done before January 30th, because January 30th is the day that we launch the pre-order to issue 2 of Encrypted, since we've got issue 1 right here. And due to me completely forgetting about Martin Luther King Day, I mistakenly thought today would be the day where a lot of people's shipments would be arriving for those pre-orders and those orders that came in later. But turns out, actually, no, a lot of them are at their hubs where they're going to one location or the next. I actually see that Kim's piece, her copy of issue 1, is already in Sydney, so that's nice to know. Now, knowing how the postal service there in our home country takes so long, it'll probably be like a whole other week. Like probably the day that issue 2 launches its pre-order will be the day she probably receives her copy. But there's others, like I said, with my cousin down in Georgia, and we've got all those orders going out to Arizona and Texas. Their copies that haven't arrived yet are still there, as well as the orders to Green Brain Comics in Royal Oak, that big package, the package of 10 of them. And also because that the copy that ordered the signed and sketched in copy that was ordered over the weekends, that I wound up shipping today by going out to FedEx office down the road in Gratiot. And because of that, that's why there wasn't a video recorded or uploaded today, which I also did a community post about just to show off, what's going on. But that didn't stop me at all from continuing to work on the comic. Of course, the new maintenance of and all those things of looking after my my new friend Gamera. You saw those as today's shorts, including the little shrimp bits that I fed to Gamera today, and also redecorating the tank with all those little frog figurines I got last year. I wound up putting them all in the tank except for our friend right here, Slick. Of course, that's one we're keeping nearby. Our little cartoon frog adventure friend. A heartfelt throwback to 90s video game side-scrolling adventure characters, like, if you remember, Gex or Sonic the Hedgehog or Rayman, or even Rayman, or all the other ones like Nights into Dreams, I would say, if that counts as well. But with all of that, we're still going on with the work on Encrypted, and we've got issue 6, of course. The big idea, thanks to our friend Forever Lost, he was the one who suggested an old issue taking place in an opera house, which is what we're going to be doing. It's going to be specifically this opera house that they have in Milan over there in Italy. It'll be fun. And there's a plot that involves biological bombs being set to go off, and it also involves an inspiration behind fractals right here. So it's nice that this is actually going to wind up being put to some good inspiration and reference use. And because the whole thing takes place inside the Milan Opera House, it really will be about, collecting photo reference and development of that to make sure that works, to make sure that is correct and all that. And also tonight we've got this work to do with this page, which is about as explicit as we get, but then again, remember, you did see Fiona full frontal naked with those pages I showed that I actually drew during the process of finishing issue 3, when we really started doing the streams to get back into working full tilt on getting Encrypted out the ground. Because me being in the middle of starting issue 3, only for then my father's stroke to get in the way and all of that. And then that's what led to there being the progress stopping pretty much all of last year on issue 3, all the way up until we got to about October, was when I finished issue 3. And then now we've been going into the streams where it's regularly been doing this. Now we're all the way up to issue 5 and cramming to get that done, so then I can have the personal satisfaction of having gone and now been able to directly focus on doing 3 issues in a row directly like this, which is 3 more than what you've been seeing from a lot of other content creators online. I still, once I start getting the responses from people coming in about issue 1, that's when I'll go and do the community post I've been chomping at the bit to do, which would be one that'll be a community post that will then at Vito and your boy Zach to go and give them a nice little fuck you, because unlike what they do, my comic book is out. It's into the hands of people who spent hard-earned money on it, so there's that. And also, my mother was one of the first ones to get her copy, and she talked about whether or not this issues need pages or page numbers, and that might be something I could do in the future, of doing page numbers on the issues, just like mark them in a corner somewhere, not too far in the corner where then they might get cropped out of the printing or be like partially cropped out of the printing. Because one of the things about that blue line, the non-photo blue line type of artboard, Bristol board that comic artists use, the thing is, for the sake of streamlining this work, that's why I do everything by hand instead of doing things digitally, and also why all the artwork, everything you see on the page there, on the printed page, is there on the original pages done by hand. It's not really any kind of compositing of Photoshop work or any kind of pre-press work. The only real pre-press work that there being the logos attached to the cover right here, the logo there and here, and with the column we'll be having for letters, that was a hand-done logo that I wound up being able to go and, thanks to my sister, through the Apple Pages, you're able to go and composite photos into Word documents like that, and all of each inside cover letter and the letter section in the back will all be composited with those Apple Pages. So that is good to know. That always helps, including the little signature I did at the bottom of issue 1's little opening letter. And that'll be the same thing with every subsequent issue, where it'll be, that issue's opening letter will be, a little salvo about what's been going on in that creative process directly in prose form, for the sake of those readers that aren't regularly watching the channel. And I do know I have those, like our mother and daughter friends out there from Michigan who went and bought original pieces of Fiona and then went and got themselves those issues. Those should be up and out there. And there are those where, just for for the sake of being thorough, I do have everyone who ordered on email. So thanks to that mailing list, I will be going out there, and for certain people, like say first-time people who never bought anything before for me and now got this comic, I will be emailing them to ask them what they think of this, or what is the response after long enough time, like say another few days, because of Martin Luther King Day. Then with all that mail delay being done out of the way, I will then make sure to go and ask them what it is that they think of the comic and all that, to then gauge their response, and also then ask them permission for what their written response would be to then be able to use in the letter section. Of course, also anticipating that there will be those unsolicited emails that will just be coming in to write in the comic through the back pages right there. The main thing, though, is that I have been very adamant about, agreeing with everybody about taking complimentary copies and putting them in the lending libraries around town. It's just that because of the intense blizzard, and also the fact that, today was at a peak of 17 degrees, I've not been able to get out of my bike to get out to all those lending libraries I see around town and put a copy in and put a copy in. And that would also be an interesting idea of those people picking up those complimentary copies and then going in and they'll see, oh, hey, they read it, picking up, reading it, and then looking at the letters in the back, go, oh, wait, well, here's this. That will be fun. And speaking of fun, thought I might show you a little bit of what I was talking about earlier with the shorts I did dealing with Gamera today. Micro, of course, like this. Where's the... My little frog friends. They are my jungle friends. That little filter, a little mountain, that's the water filter. That's about the medium level you're supposed to keep the water in. That's the little area for our friend Gamera to go and bask in. And right there, with the little shrimp bits above them, there's our friend Gamera. Yes, we got the proof of life. Right, now let's go and look into the shorts to see the other ones. Here we go with this one. Now that is a little turtle figurine that was one of the Christmas presents I got for my sister. And hello to Weatherman right there. Got a migraine, but I'm here for now. Okay. And Weatherman being one of the major people involved, one of the major contributors to Encrypted getting made, since he went there and pre-ordered 2 one-year subscriptions to Encrypted. So of course he's getting out there, and well, besides the regular delay of how much longer it takes stuff to get to where he is, well, if his farmland and all that with his forest land. Now, also, you have Martin Luther King Day, meaning that waiting for the package to arrive will take, a bit, always takes a bit longer than usual when it comes to other people to whom I send out, my artwork to. Or now with, every other month having a new issue of Encrypted to collect pre-orders on before shipping them. But yes, got a migraine, but I'm here for now. All right. I hope the migraine is not too intense. We're just looking a bit at the shorts I did today because of me having to go out all the way to the FedEx office to ship out the order for Encrypted, number 1, that was done over the weekend. Led to me not being able to record. This is the Guardian of Gamera. This little thing that my sister got me. It just then happened to be a coincidence that then the night before I left off, then we went and got a real turtle. But then, of course, those little shrimp bits, zooming in, there's Gamera looking. And the weird thing where the eye on the little shrimp bit right here is perfectly framed with that eye to make it look like it is the right eye of Gamera, just angrily glaring at me. How bad is the migraine? He says, bad enough that I'm sitting in the dark. Oh, well, if only there was a woman there with bonbons between her breasts telling you to go and enjoy some of them. Or maybe she's smearing her breasts with chocolate syrup for you to go and enjoy. And of course, let's like this. And that's it. Doesn't Gamera look so happy? It looks like the turtle equivalent of that bit that the real-life Peter Griffin did of his baby son that he dressed up like Stewie. Go away, fat man. If you don't remember that one, I'll show you. The real-life Peter Griffin here with the real-life Stewie. But we gotta get past the Kia commercial first there, Lois. As long as it's not my sister, then cool. Yes. If it was like Jessica Chastain that was there, or Julianne Moore that was pouring the hot chocolate sauce all over her breast and saying, come get it, daddy. Or maybe Sydney Sweeney or Alice Eve. Considering, that I've been considering how much I've been drawing Fiona and her visual model being Alice Eve, although, of course, the pipe dream of getting an Encrypted movie made would be on the back of, well, of course, everybody would want Sydney Sweeney. Or at least everybody here in the channel and everybody subscribing to the comic itself would be wanting Sydney Sweeney.
Guys, real life Peter Griffin here with the real life Stewie, and we're just hanging out here. We're having a good time, introducing the world to the real life Stewie. Nobody cares. Stewie is the star right now. Look at that. You enjoying the YouTube there, Stewie?
Go away, fat man. Oh my God, you're embarrassing me. Just get me off this camera and let me poop in peace. Oh, I hate it here. I hate it here. Why? Why must they do this to me? They don't even have Cool Whip.
Well, we got here Weatherman saying here, I go for Nikki Cox. So do I. And let's go and show you a little bit of that. So, we can get like a nice little compilation. Oh, here's a little something.
Yes, yes, yes.
A quick little tribute to the redheaded goddess of the 90s, Nikki Cox. So we may remember her in her prime and before the needless plastic surgery, and then before she went off and just walked out on show business anyway. Where her last screen credit, I think, was voicing the Silver Sable on that late 2000s Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, God, yes! Must think interesting thoughts. What am I gonna wear tomorrow?
Although I will say this, I'm also very jealous of her son. Yes, she's a woman that looks like this, wound up, letting Jay Moore put his cock in her and having a child, but I'm still jealous of that baby boy. Would you like to see more? Or, as Weatherman just simply says, his favorite Crash Test Dummies song, That was very nice. Or how? Let's just look at the thumbnail for this one right here. Preferably something tight. Because luckily the show was on the air long enough to get syndicated, 100 episodes back then, but it only aired in syndication for like a couple years and then just disappeared, and it's not shown up in any streaming service or anything since then. But luckily, there were people that did videotape when the show was in reruns, and they wound up, doing a transfer of that, a torrent of those episodes. So now the whole 100 episode run is available on YouTube. That is great. These are whole episodes looking for like another compilation. Best of Nikki Cox Season 5 on Happily Ever After. Yes. I approve of this thumbnail and you do too. I know you all also approve of me having a large glass of milk right now, but because I've been stuck indoors, except for needing the Uber to get up to that FedEx office today, I ran out of milk days ago. She was trying to compete with Applegate, and I would say she actually was doing a good job at it when it comes to, a hot piece of ass on a family sitcom that actually had legitimately good comedic timing. I would agree. Difference is that, though, she wound up just drifting away from show business as opposed to, Applegate doing, what needs to be done as a young actress in Hollywood to have that sort of exposure or career outside of, a big long-running sitcom. So that she didn't wind up like the actor who played her brother. Although then also at the same time, either Nikki Cox herself and also the actors who played, Bud Bundy, neither of them wound up with MS and breast cancer. So there is that. So I think Nikki Cox, at the end of the day, there's also the idea of people that want to just like get away from show business to focus on being a parent. I mean, I'm all for. Since, that then after the 2000s, there was the weird surgeries and all of that. And then that one show they had her on, Las Vegas, where she was just kind of there and wasn't really used well. And, so then, well, hey, she finds the right man to settle down with and marries and has a son, wants to go away from show business. Okay. And yes, I agree. The show just didn't go the distance when it comes to Unhappily Ever After, which was one of the original launch series for the WB and pretty much the one other one that people ever really remember or talk about. Because like I know the Wayans Brothers was another one of those shows that premiered, but who else really remembers or talks about the Wayans Brothers that much? Like, for one way or another, if only for Nikki Cox and her great tits, people remember and talk about Unhappily Ever After, to the point where this one channel I've watched called Good Bad Flicks did a video about, quickly canceled WB shows. And even though he didn't talk about Unhappily Ever After in the video, he still put Nikki Cox in the thumbnail and even openly said, yes, because when it comes to talking about WB, all people ever want to talk about is Unhappily Ever After or Dawson's Creek or Smallville. So you pretty much have to put Nikki Cox or James Vanderbeek in the thumbnail. I'll show you what I mean with his top 5. Oh, yeah, right here. See this? It's a series that he's been doing for more than a year now, Good Bad Flicks, of 5 shows. Here's 5 Forgotten TV Shows, part 34, the first year of the WB. Even though the Wayans Brothers and Unhappily Ever After were the 2 shows that lasted any kind of distance, any kind of run. Like I said, Unhappily Ever After did last 100 episodes. It was long enough to be in syndication, at least for a network series. That's still like the requirement, so like the standard. But then, it just disappeared from syndication after a couple of years. And of course, here she is in early on when they were still trying to make it a family show about the parents and all that. Although, interestingly, they still already had Nikki Cox, in sexy tight outfits. But then a few years into the show, she turned 18. And then that's when it became, all about her, to the point where then they saw they had a potential sitcom star in their hands. So WB, within like a year, just a broadcast season after they ended Unhappily Ever After, they went and tried to not do a spin-off, but to go and have a whole new show built all around her called Nikki that ran for like a year and a half. And they built it all around her, as in, like, she had been a professional dancer since she was like a little kid. So they did the show where they built in her dance background into the show. So she gets to do a dance number every episode and all that. And it lasted, like I said, a season and I think a season and a half. And they really hyped it up. They had from the creator of the Drew Carey Show behind it. And of course, because I remember also it involves wrestling, they got, Macho Man and Kevin Nash to guest star. And then they even got Drew Carey to appear in an episode that was more about her husband being a wrestler, in an episode where Drew Carey guest stars around the same time where he was competing in the Royal Rumble 2001, and they still canceled the show. Of course, also at the same time, like after Unhappily Ever After was canceled, she was on that brief time that Norm Macdonald had a sitcom. Yeah, the Norm Macdonald Show, where she played a hooker turned social worker, I remember. And yeah, there's that. And that lasted not really that long. So then she went back to the WB where they built a whole new show around her. And then that disappeared. And then, like I said, there was that show Las Vegas where she was just kind of there, and they wasted her on not giving her anything funny to do or not really anything that's sexy to do. And then she just said, hey, screw it. I'd rather be a mom than, some sad sack actress. That's why you don't really see her, like on that convention circuit or whatever, like, other stars of WB shows where they were there to be hot.
Okay, Richardson, give me
Those take your Christmas decorations.
They are.
We thought so too.
I've covered Fox UPN and some early stuff from the Sci-Fi Channel, so now let's look at the first year of the WB. The WB launched on January 11th, 1995 with a 2-hour lineup of sitcoms. While almost everyone remembers the Wayans Brothers, The Parenthood, and if my comments section are any indication, everyone remembers Unhappily Ever After.
Oh yeah, The Parenthood. That's another one. Like I said, as much as people remember UPN as being the Black People Network, the WB also had, Black-centered sitcoms that it really pushed. Like I said, as much as I don't really hear people remembering it or talking about it anymore, I watch the Wayans Brothers all the time, and one of the biggest laughs I got when seeing Scary Movie in the theater for the first time was that little fourth wall reference where it's like, watching television shows doesn't create psycho killers. Canceling TV shows does. The Wayans Brothers was a good show, man. It was a good-ass show. We didn't even get a final episode. Geez, it had a 4.6 share. If you're referring to Unhappily Ever After, I mean, that's a lot more than I expected, especially from it being, a sitcom launching from a new network that also was getting negatively compared to Married with Children all the time. Because that was another thing, to the point where in the earlier seasons of the show that were less focused on Nikki Cox, they put a lot of screen time and effort into the whole thing with the dad being crazy and thinking that his son's pet, like Bunny, was talking to him, voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait. And they actually got like Sesame Street and Jim Henson puppeteers to work on the show to do that. And each episode, the end credits would play over that character, Mr. Floppy, voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait, reading out letters from fans, including really early on of them doing like a fourth wall thing of, oh, your show is just a cheap ripoff of Married with Children. And he comes back with like, that's a show where it has two, that has a girl and a boy. We have two boys and one girl. Okay. Can't you? Completely different kind of show. I mean, it didn't also help the fact that one of the creators of Married with Children was the creator or co-creator of Unhappily Ever After as well. Yes, there was that. So automatically, people already had like critics already had a target on the show's back. But then on top of it, having initially a de facto lead actress, where then the show got smarted up and it wound up making Nikki Cox the lead actress, to the point where then the mother got killed off in the middle of the penultimate season, and that then they kept her around as a ghost. Then they did like a lazy fourth wall break meta thing of the network executive walking in a frame and saying, yeah, well, the network wants the mother back. So they just randomly brought her back to life through the power of fourth wall breaking studio demands, only for then the final season of the show, they wrote the actress off completely anyway, and just said that, oh, she ran away with a lesbian lover. So then they could be so blatantly focusing on Nikki Cox that the opening credits of the final season opens on, her feet, on her in her best hooker heels and a tight little dress with possibly no bra as she's doing her best little fuck me smirk into the camera. Only for then the show to be canceled after that. But if you rewatch the show back, like I remember, my father loved Unhappily Ever After, and he was elated when he found the whole series available on YouTube. And yeah, if you watch the first couple seasons, it's one of those where, yeah, the funniest parts of it are the parts where it's either Nikki Cox or it's Bobcat Goldthwait as the talking bunny. And then but there's a bunch of other extraneous stuff going on, like with a mother-in-law being there, although she might as well not be there because all she does is do like a scene, an episode where she's just there to be on pills or drunk. And then after season 2, they just wrote her off with no explanation, which was a good thing. So it was like over time, they were figuring out the concept of what characters to focus on, which characters to not or write out. And like once we get to the time of Nikki Cox turning 18, so then they make her the star and amp up the sex appeal even more, then the talking bunny winds up getting reduced to like one scene where it just has like a monologue. And then although still that was a much better balance to actually focus on the, with of course Nikki Cox being front and center, but still making it, a dysfunctional family sitcom that's actually about a dysfunctional family, as opposed to early on where you've got, the focus on the divorced dad, and then there's the mother-in-law having so much airtime when she doesn't deserve it, and Nikki Cox's friends getting as much attention as she does. Like, although unfortunately it didn't do well enough in figuring out what part of the concept actually worked by, season 3 or so, where then it, gets its 5th season where it winds up getting 100 episodes and then canceled. Although it did wind up getting a final episode, considering that Married with Children, the show that made the Fox network launch successfully, and that was still one of the longest running sitcoms ever, did not get a series finale. That's, kicking the balls. So say what you want about the legacy of the WB, but it did treat its flagship long-running network launching long-running sitcom with a lot more respect by giving it a proper ending. And then, of course, afterwards, realizing that Nikki Cox still was, a potential star on her hands, they went and tried to give her own show. And then, for whatever reason, it was the opposite. The formula for that show she did, Nikki, which I remember watching, it had, it had a sitcom premise that worked to be built around her, the way that, every other network sitcom that's built to be a vehicle for a stand-up comedian works in a way. but then they wound up changing it so much in the second season that it became unrecognizable, and whatever audience that show had wound up falling apart, and then they canceled it in the middle of a second season, so that the WB could have more time and attention put towards launching Smallville. Now, the Wayans brothers had a 6.2 share. Jesus. No, being that not every major city had the WB, that was not too bad. Well, I was living out there in LA when, Unhappily Ever After was on for most of its run, which most of my memories of watching it when it was originally airing was, at my father's house in LA. So, I mean, that makes sense. Of course, LA would have, affiliates for the WB and UPN. And then when they both were disbanded and then merged into the CW, then that's where they also had to come up with like a My TV, My 20 to go and have all the other network affiliates that were not going to be this for the CW. All those leftover affiliates they had from merging UPN and the WB into the CW, they turned into that.
But what about the other shows that launched that first year? Here's 5 shows from the first year of the WB that you may have missed or forgotten about. And yes, I used Nikki Cox in the thumbnail because that seems...
And yeah, you can tell. See, it's her name, just her in this sexy little outfit. And then in the corner is the title of the show where she was supposed to be a supporting character on. But the writers and producers wised up and made her the star. Although, unfortunately, her trying to get that sitcom notoriety to cross over into movies basically peaked with a supporting role in The Glimmer Man, the Steven Seagal, Keenen Ivory Wayans opus. So, well, I'm legitimately surprised as far as I know, she doesn't have a Steven Seagal Me Too story. Considering it wasn't, her hovering around the age of consent that, blocks Seagal from having stories like that out there. If you remember Katherine Heigl talking about having, I think her 15th birthday on the set of Under Siege 2, where she's playing Seagal's niece, and he was, putting the moves on her. And there's that famous picture, the premiere of Under Siege 2, where there's Seagal with his, hand right here between her boobs. And there she is, putting on the biggest fake smile she can. If she knows what's good for her career, she'll like it when Seagal grabs at titties. Considering also she agreed to be in a movie where she is the teenage stepdaughter of Gerard Depardieu, who goes around on vacation lying about being his underage girlfriend. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there she is smiling while Seagal's got his hand on her chest. Or, no wonder my father had so much in common with Steven Seagal, between looking at him back in the 90s, between the complexion and combing his hair back like that, but then also him, talking about Katherine Heigl, how much sexier she was in that movie where she's lying about being the underage girlfriend of Gerard Depardieu. And I'm looking at him really, Jeffrey? Hi, Mr. Polanski. When's Angelica Houston going to show up with you at Jack Nicholson's house while you bring along the special candy? And now let's move on to the talent portion. And what's also weird is that around that time of when Unhappily Ever After was on the air and The Glimmer Man came out, Keenen Ivory Wayans actually had a talk show that ran for a minute, and Nikki Cox was a guest on the show. And I remember her, and of course there she is, cleavage exploding out of her tight little low-cut dress. And she's talking about, somehow people around town found her phone number or whatever where she was living, and they were having to deal with stalkers. There's Weatherman says, yeah, her Nikki Cox show on WB after Unhappily Ever After ended, it never rated, which meant it never broke a 2 share. When, the X-Files spinoff that did get a full season, Lone Gunman, even though it had better ratings than season 1 of the X-Files, yeah, that had a better audience share. And hello, yes, good evening to you too, RJ McCready. As here we have got a page of Fiona getting naked and making sweet love to the Prime Minister without actually having to show the prime minister. No. I'm giving you the sex without having to show, the guy. It's me looking out for all the other, porn or softcore connoisseurs out there who always hated when they would show the guy. And also, I'm not only not showing you the guy, also it's a soft core, but not in the way where I, then have to, you're seeing the guy's ass. Although compared to, gross, rapey, angry, hardcore porno, yeah, I was always one of those where it was a pick your poison situation, and I'd rather, see the dude's ass than have to, see his giant dick pounding into a woman on camera. Unlike my father, who in one of his many, strangely homoerotic inflections, you could say, to his character, was he looked at me as being some kind of weirdo or some kind of repressed person for not wanting to, see a big, giant, angry dick on camera when, looking at sexy time. If only Nikki Cox had, done a, movie where you got to see her naked and nasty. But, then again, remember, that's an actual place where, her body, her choice actually comes in. The my body, my choice platitudes, which lost all credibility on the left the second they started absolutely othering and wanting to even imprison people who don't take a vaccine, from the same people who scream that all their livelong day, when it comes to murdering unborn babies. Well. Now, yeah, what's it like? Well, Weatherman said, yeah, the show that Las Vegas, that show Nikki Cox was on after her second WB sitcom got canceled, where she was wasted and just kind of stood there, and they didn't really give her, they didn't play to her strengths the way where, I mean, to be fair to her show, that one that was all, named after her, that, played to her strengths. It was a sitcom where also they worked up a premise so that they could have her, use her dance skills. And on Las Vegas, none of that. But it still had a 7.2 share, when it was at its best. And RJ says, hardcore always looks like a guy that is trying to kill someone with his unit. Yes. As Bill Maher, of all people, was saying about, modern porno looking gross, rapey, to the point where he had a guy on a show who wrote an op-ed belittling Hugh Hefner upon his death as the grinning pimp of the sexual revolution, because that guy was a good judge of character. And I remember him, Maher, when arguing with this guy in defense of his friend Hugh Hefner, he also talked about how, but I agree with you, pornography, it's not exciting, it's not sexy, it's not pretty, it's gross and rapey. And then later on, when he had Stormy Daniels on as a guest, he said the same thing about it's rapey, it's gross. When Bill Maher is going out of his way to find moments to repeatedly bring up modern porno being gross and rapey, when this guy has a residency at the Playboy Mansion for years on end, something's wrong here. The guy who is pretty much the epitome of the guy who uses his celebrity to become the drunken, debauched fool who can fuck around whoever he wants because he was the dweeb in high school that never got invited to the cool parties. Yeah, and also you wonder why then, when now you've got, especially now in this day and age, in the way that the porn industry has gone, you have now an even bigger, succession of ex-performers than they did before, that not only they leave the industry and then wind up speaking ill of it, they then also wind up having, religious conversions or go on, having moral epiphanies, a moral road to Damascus moment that leads to them completely, speaking ill of and against the same industry that they used to be, a star of. And this is not just just like the new millennial generation that are all porn brained because of the internet. We're talking like those who are legitimately, legitimate stars of the industry, like Randy Spears, who not only walked out in the industry, but then wound up having a religious conversion and even took place in a documentary called Life After Porn, where he goes in as one of those examples that appears on camera to talk about the life of the industry and how it was something so repugnant and disgusting, and he completely regrets ever having been involved, and now, through the power of Christ, is trying to redeem himself and forgive himself and to try to, do everything he can to have the love for Christ in his heart to redeem the life he led before. And when you look at the porno, also the hardcore stuff, I mean, that's why now, besides, I think I saw Razor Fist explain in a recent stream either his Razor Fist Offensive, the Razor Force Offensive, or his Razor Fist Arcade streams he does every week, about how this is like the first time in years in America that like members of the Christian church, the membership had not decreased. So either it increased enough that it made up for the deficit, so you wound up having like a wash or breaking even, or it was going up, enough that, you can count where there were at least as many people, or maybe slightly more, could be converted into Christianity than those that were leaving the church. And considering the sort of, moral or ethical or socio-political, clap back to the permissive leftism getting everything they want, and that, the cult of the fake tolerance of the left being something that is just been further and further exposed as insincere and really just a case of do as I say, not as I do. It's the be tolerant the way I tell you to, or else. And now, no wonder these are the same people where if you look at somebody, a woman who chooses with her life happily to go and be, a mother and carry children to term and take the kids to church instead of, be a promiscuous, drug-addicted careerist who is obsessed with being as promiscuous and materialistic as possible, then you get all those great feminists start treating them like garbage and as subhuman pond scum for the crime of not being a woman who's let their life be dictated to them by feminist dogma. And now an extension of that it's not just, the TikTok trad wives and the old trad wife thing, being around, but also now more and more you see people like, say, another one who was a queen of the porno industry, Riley Reid. The woman that they tried to build up as some type of SJW type of porn star because of her being so obsessed with doing interracial as this petite little pretty, white girl that they could go and infantilize in the sort of underhanded dancing around the laws pedo bait with her kind of career. But then also, but she was this one that refused to take pay cuts for doing interracial scenes. And now she does all this interracial porno. See, that makes her, a great activist. What? Because she refused to take less money for a black dude to pound her cunt like he's trying to kill her with his unit, as opposed to a white guy doing it? And well, guess what? She's now gone and done on-camera interviews, completely repentant and regretful of having ever been involved in the industry. And now, through the heart of hearts of talking about somebody who actually is tolerant and open-minded and forgiving in the way that these liberals never prove themselves to never sincerely be. She found a man who has gone and now married her, and you can see the footage online of the big traditional fairy tale, white wedding, as our friend Billy Idol said once. Hell, she found a man who was able to forgive her for her past and for doing all that depraved shit and finding, this is the woman I will love. Now, when it comes to saintly or a guy who truly, can forgive or forget, loving your enemies or forgiving those who've done depraved things, it's Riley Reid's husband. In the way that Jerry Falwell proved himself to be the righteous man, not through his preaching or his televangelism, but through the friendship he developed with Larry Flynt in the years after their feud that led to counter lawsuits that led all the way up to the Supreme Court. And then in the wake of all that, Falwell and Flynt became close friends, where they wound up going on public speaking tours together. And yet they maintained that friendship all the way up until their deaths, even with Flynt still not backing away from mocking Falwell for all the televangelist statements and things he would make, like, about the purple Teletubby being gay or whatever. Of course, that thing that we all remember because the media wouldn't shut up about it because they don't like somebody speaking against their will. Or just in general, for years, Jerry Falwell had a bounty on his head from lefty media. So whatever he said, they were going to, of course, signal boost it in the opposite direction of making him out to be a demon. When all these people that are thinking like him, that were hating him for not thinking like them, all turn out to be actually 5 times more fucking hateful and vindictive and judgmental and conceited and clinging to waving their dogma around everywhere than Jerry Falwell ever was. That's why they could only go and shit all over his rhetoric, and why it probably supremely frustrated them that they could never do any of the things like, say, with what happened with Mr. I've sinned against you, my lord, Jimmy Swaggart. They couldn't catch Falwell, and hence why the whole thing with Jerry Falwell Jr. being caught and all that on that lot and that yacht and that scandal was like the guilt by association, the finally getting their revenge on Jerry Falwell by proxy by being able to go and overexpose in the media against his son. And of course, let's not forget about the backwards ass morality of these people, where somebody deciding to walk away from a life of getting sexually used in some form or another on camera is perfectly them being sexually abused and exploited on camera. That's perfectly fine. But then they walk away from that industry and they wind up having some inside baseball information that is not professionally defending the industry. So a woman like, like Ginger Lynn, they'll continue to praise and treat as some great person in the mainstream media because she tells them what they want to hear. And the fact that here's this, crotchety, flabby old lady that's, your grandmama's age that's still doing porn. But somehow that is something that's righteous and to cheer for, as opposed to somebody deciding to take a whole new direction in their life, but that whole new direction in their life is speaking ill of something that the left has happily, gladly been using in the name of social engineering for the sake of what their agenda is. In case you wonder why you wind up with things like, say, the Moonlight Bunny Ranch from that HBO softcore docuseries Cat House, doing campaigns where prostitutes for Hillary, or you've got triple X companies doing videos like Donald Trump, or that same production company that did that, Wood Rocket, having a YouTube channel with a video series called Ask a Porn Star, and they have one of what do you think of Donald Trump, and it's nine of the speakers out of 10 are saying bog standard Orange Man bad rhetoric you could easily get from every fucking episode of that Daily Show for the last decade. So if you don't think that the porn industry and all that is in another part of the apparatus of media or entertainment is entirely built around a far left political agenda, and if you didn't, and you're completely stupid if you don't think that. And also the fact that, well, they have such a strangely personal level of anger and invective towards those that go from being a major performer in the industry to then speaking ill of it, or the very least not even speaking ill of it, but then they wind up, say, having a religious conversion, like, say, Randy Spears. They completely act as if you went around and not allowed them to molest your children. Like what has been happening with public schools and the parents that don't want their kids to get sexually abused by these pervert teachers in public schools, to pervert them into being brainwashed puppets for creepy pinko perverts, because if they don't procreate, they indoctrinate. And then they act like, no, they have the right to be offended and that you're the one who's wrong, for when they point out all the convicted child molesters in the "We're Coming to Convert Your Children" musical number video online. And then it becomes a guessing game of, look at the ones in the video, the men in the video that aren't convicted sex offenders. And then, fake anti-woke, fake, anti-SJW types, like just some guy get exposed as being absolutely full of shit that we're jumping into a scene for the easy monetization, for the lulz and all that, is when suddenly you go and bring him on a stream where everyone else in the stream is rightfully shitting on the "we're coming to convert your children" video, and he is trying to bully everybody into repeating the lie he wants to hear about how, oh, they're just joking. And then when enough people in the chat tell him that he's insane or full of shit for saying, oh, it's just a joke, then he winds up going completely mask off and saying, oh no, this is their revenge because all these guys got molested by priests in a conversion camp. How do you know that? You're so fucking desperate to defend these people, Vito Gesualdi style, you wind up having to completely fucking generate absolutely insane conjecture. Then that's when you damn well know you done lost. And that's not my opinion. I know I'm right. And yeah, Weatherman, she got frustrated and quit before the final season because, like I said, if you remember that show, because that was another one my father never missed an episode of, they just increasingly used less and less of her. And even from the beginning, they were not really using her well. I mean, she was still hot, but they, so was every other actress and that was a part of the major cast, and they all got more to do than her. And remember, as you saw with Unhappily Ever After, her skills were in her comedic timing, and her being, besides being incredibly hot, her a genuine, skilled, naturally talented comedy actress. So then on Las Vegas, they have her on the show where she's given nothing comedic to do. Okay, it's like putting, Robin Williams in, and having him star in Shakespeare. And yes, I know Robin Williams also did a bunch of great dramatic work, but he didn't do that, and for extended periods not do comedy that people knew him for and what was his mainstay. And also the fact that, yeah, she went and married Jay Moore, who, if I remember right, Jay Moore guest starred on that show. They met and they hit it off so well that then they got married. And yeah, she and Jay Moore divorced in 2018. I think I'd heard of that. And Weatherman says, okay, I'm going to lay down later on. Have a good one. All right, everybody wish good night to Weatherman. I was just in the middle of, saying what I've been wanting to say about what's been going of the porno industry. Like how, besides Riley Reid, there are now multiple former performers that are now going around the internet talking about wanting their old footage, wanting their old performances, quote unquote, to get removed by the official websites carrying them and all that. Now that they've left the industry, and now like this one's a mom, and there's multiple former millennial porn stars that now have quit the industry and are now wives and mothers and are trying to campaign to have their old videos removed for the sake of not wanting to be humiliated in the future by their son discovering their past. The lame ass excuse that Triple H used when it came to why they won't put China in the WWE Hall of Fame. About hey, China, who's this? I never heard of her. We put China in the Hall of Fame. I got a son, but then my son looks up China on the internet because he never heard of her. When he sees her in the Hall of Fame, and then he looks up and goes, oh, what shows up? Even though they still have Hulk Hogan in the WWE Hall of Fame for multiple reasons between his own legacy and, of course, with the NWO. But remember, whether you were there loving Hulk Hogan till the bitter end or not, right there on the internet, you can find him laying the pipe to another man's wife. Just saying. The sight of his overly spray tan, rippled ass as he's plowing his way into the wife of a close friend is right there. Right there, you can see it. Like the stream I did recently where I had the poll where I asked if you were forced to watch one of them, which of the three would you rather see between Sylvester Stallone's porno, John Wayne Bobbitt's porno, or the Hulk Hogan sex tape? And the winner was Sylvester Stallone's porno, The Party at Kitty and Studs. or Italian Stallion, as it was retitled when it got re-released after Rocky hit it big. And plus, Snuka, who was alleged in the 1980s to have killed his girlfriend. Oh, yes. Yes, Superfly Snuka, who was the Patton Oswalt of wrestling in the 80s, getting away with murder. And I think only decades later was there new evidence that was able to reopen the cold case and was able to convict the bastard, if I remember right. No, like that show, if you remember that. I never watched it, but it was advertised all the time on CBS when I would watch, like a college football CBS when I was made to watch college football, the NFL broadcast on CBS, and they'd advertise. No, I remember Cold Case. I also remember Cold Case. Actually, that was a show that had an early appearance for Jennifer Lawrence as like a murder victim in some early episode. And let's take a look once again. Just give you a nice little, leering moment of Nikki Cox and her supreme naughtiness. Isn't that fun?
To be just about the only thing that gets traction these days. Muscle. Muscle was the third show on launch night, right after the Wayans brothers and Unhappily Ever After. The show was essentially a sitcom about Planet Fitness. Although the show wasn't your typical sitcom, it was more of a parody that poked fun at the countless primetime soap operas that were a big deal at the time. The biggest being the Fox ratings juggernaut, Melrose Place. The show was created by Rob Lazebnik, who before this was an executive producer on the sitcoms Empty Nest and Blossom. The series premiered on January 11th, 1995. This series starts with the death of Big Jim Atkinson, played by Adam West. He's the owner of a very popular chain of gyms, and someone poisons him. His son Kent then...
Adam West, Adam West, and a little bit softer now, and a little bit softer now. Yes.
Spends the rest of the season trying to figure out who poisoned him, and he suspects it's his stepmom, Jane, who is now the president of the company. While West's character died in the pilot episode, he did return once in a while over the season in flashbacks and voiceovers. Kent, the lead for the show, was played by Dan Gutierrez. Before this, he was Lieutenant McKay in Tour of Duty and Brad in Teen Witch. Although his biggest role was Kevin Buchanan in the soap opera One Life to Live, which is probably the role that helped him to land this job. The show also starred Alan Ruck as the psychiatrist, Dr. Gold. The show opened with pretty low view numbers, which were fairly consistent, but still low. The season ended on a cliffhanger, but the show was canceled, so the ending was never resolved. The last episode aired on May 24th, 1995. It ran for one season with 13 episodes. Muscle was the only show in the launch for the WB that was canceled in its first season. The show is not released physically, it's not available for streaming, and aside from a few promo clips, it's not on YouTube. Kirk. Kirk was part of the summer wave of new shows on the WB. The original title for the show was Life Happens. It was originally being made for ABC, who decided to not move forward with it due to them steering away from family-based sitcoms. The pilot was then picked up by the fledgling WB network, and at some point, renamed Kirk. Kirk was a sitcom that revolved around Kirk Cameron and his real-life wife, Chelsea Noble, although in the show they're dating and not yet married. Cameron plays Kirk Hartman, a recent college grad living in Greenwich Village who's put in charge of taking care of his two younger brothers and sister. The show premiered on August 23rd, 1995. The show was a modest hit, pulling in more viewers than Muscle, but not nearly as many as Unhappily Ever After. After 21 episodes, it was renewed for a second season, although they cut the episode order in half. So for season 2, they only requested 11 episodes. Season 2 opened strong, but quickly fell off and the show was canceled. The last episode aired on November 10th, 1996. There was one more episode after that.
And at least Kirk Cameron has something else to cling to with his life and what he did or what his legacy is, or whatever. Instead of some blonde who showed her tits in Playboy that then has revolved her life and career around brooding about not being on the show longer because how dare Kirk Cameron be Christian and not how dare he not want to work with a playmate. And RJ says, strangely, I'd rather watch Muscle and Kirk over Batwoman. So would everyone else. Except the most delusional, anti-Christian type of jackass who, they hate Kirk Cameron because freaks on Tumblr tell them to. But enough about the cinema snob.
But it never aired, so the show ended up with 32 episodes, but only 31 made it to broadcast. The show does not have a physical release, it's not available for streaming, and a few random episodes are on YouTube, but not the full series. Simon. This was a show that eluded even me. When I first saw the name, I thought, they gave a sitcom to Simon Rex, didn't they? Nope, this was a Harlan Williams sitcom. Williams stars as Simon Himple. The show is about a stockbroker played by Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman, in one of the many little quickly forgotten roles he subsisted on in the 90s until Arrested Development came along and relaunched his career, including this one really funny dark comedy I saw in the theater and that I actually had on VHS, and now it's on Tubi, Love Stinks, which I would recommend. Yeah, it's on Tubi. It's easy to watch and all that. I mean, also Harlan Williams actually somebody actually tried to give us a sitcom deal to Harlan Williams. That's okay. I mean, you look at him and his stand-up and all that. In the 90s, they really tried to make him a thing, but every vehicle they gave him didn't really pan out. He was funny in Half-Baked, but Half-Baked did badly in theaters. And of course, the biggest thing he was known for were, little one-scene parts in Fairley Brothers movies, but that's not really, launching you as a comedic talent. So he's just been subsisting because every attempt to try to make him into something bigger than the 90s didn't pan out. He's been able to just keep going, just doing stand-up and maybe occasional bit parts in movies like that Dane Cook movie where he was in.
Who loses everything and has to move in with his brother Simon, who's kind of an idiot. Although just as Carl moves in, Simon gets a high-paying job with a cable TV network, which sends Carl into a deep depression. He has to swallow his pride when he can't find work, and Simon offers him a job. The show premiered on September 10th, 1995. Every episode of the show after that seems to be Simon does something dumb, but as luck would have it, things turn out great for him, which drives Carl insane. The show didn't catch on, and it was canceled, with the last episode airing on May 24th, 1996. It ran for one season with 21 episodes. The show also did not have a physical release. It's not available for streaming.
Another attempt at Harlan Williams trying to get a bigger career crossover from stand-up was, does anybody else remember that Disney movie Rocket Man? I remember actually seeing that in the theater and loving it. And yeah, they actually tried to go, and Disney of all studios tried to make him a comedy star, comedy lead, and it just didn't pan out. Even though I remember the movie being really funny, but I haven't seen it for the longest time, so I don't know.
And the only episode I could find on YouTube was episode 2, which was recorded off of CTV. So it seems the show did make its way to Canada at some point. First Time Out. First Time Out is a sitcom. Over on Fox, there was the very successful sitcom Living Single, so they made First Time Out as Latina Living Single. Anyway, First Time Out revolved around a bunch of 20-something girlfriends looking for Mr. Right with silly results. The show premiered on September 10th, 1995. Jackie runs a hair salon, and she shares an apartment with her friends Susan and Dominique, played by a pre-King of Queens Leah Remini. They were hoping...
Like, if I heard this show, like that other show that got canceled quickly that she did on Fox with Halle Berry, they both ended up, failing quickly, so then she could go and get the King of Queens that ran for like a decade. Like how apparently Margot Robbie auditioned for a role in that failed attempt by ABC to reboot Charlie's Angels as a TV show. She didn't get she went for the one of the lead parts, but didn't get it. Then got Wolf of Wall Street. Not one of those blessings in disguise.
For something close to living single, but just didn't get the views. The show was canceled, and the last episode aired on December 17th, 1995. The last episode they aired was the Christmas episode, which I'm guessing seemed like a good place to stop since the ratings weren't all that great. They shot 16 episodes, but only aired 12. The show did not get a physical release, it's not available for streaming, and only a few random clips are on YouTube. Cleghorn! I know this may be hard to believe, but this is another sitcom. Cleghorn is a sitcom that was made for stand-up comedian and Saturday Night Live alumni.
Yes, when it comes to Saturday Night Live, always wanted to be so progressive and all that. Oh, we're so great. Yeah, is that why you had, the only times you had black women on the show before you were forced by Twitter, the Twitter mob to put on Leslie Jones, you had them on and then did absolutely fuck all with them. Even if both Denitra Vance, who was their token black girl in the 80s, or token black lady in the 90s, Ellen Cleghorn, both were a trillion times funnier than DEI in human form and Leslie Jones, but still, yeah, they did shit with them. And where the fuck is this lady now? I can imagine them, rightfully, Denitra Vance and Ellen Cleghorn right here, both brooding over them not getting half the fucking obnoxious overexposure of airtime as Leslie Jones did. And that's also, not forget about, the only thing people might remember her for now is the random joke about her on Family Guy, where Stewie asks, did they ever find a successful vehicle for Ellen Cleghorn?
Ellen Cleghorn. The show's about Ellen Carson, a single mom who runs a commercial production company in Soho. She's trying to balance her business life, romantic life, and the life of her 9-year-old daughter. The show premiered on September 10th, 1995. I find it odd that the show is called Cleghorn, but in the series, her last name is Carson. Imagine if Seinfeld was about Jerry Singer. It's not really a nitpick, it's just something that I thought was off. Although I know this isn't the only show to do it, it just always rubs me slightly the wrong way. Anyway, the show did not go over well at all. When the series launched, it was up against Married with Children. After a few weeks, they moved it back to a 9 o'clock time slot, where it lost against Martin. The show was canceled, and the last episode aired on December 17th, 1995. They filmed 15 episodes, but only aired 12. Cleghorn! Never had a physical release. It's not available for streaming, but the first 2 episodes are on YouTube. Cleghorn! Wow, way too many sitcoms on here. I know they're often the cheapest to produce, which is why a lot of networks launch with them, but it seems they relied on them a little too much that first year. Every primetime show they had in 1995 was a sitcom. Well, despite that this batch of programs pretty much underperformed, WB did later find its footing with shows like Dawson's Creek, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed, Gilmore Girls, and Smallville. It seems in 1995, the only successful shows on...
Except, of course, when they also tried to have Birds of Prey as a show, which, look back at that. The Birds of Prey WB show was a million times better than that shitty movie. And yet still they, threw that away after, 13 episodes? Now, the show, the DC Comics show that features literally the only good live-action portrayal of Batgirl, and it's only in flashbacks with fellow 90s, 2000s ginger sex goddess Dina Meyer as Oracle. Yeah, but it's Barbara Gordon now as Oracle because the show begins with her having already been paralyzed by the Joker, but they do have flashbacks to her as Batgirl, and even an episode where she gets some some device to put on her so that she can get back up into her Batgirl costume to face an old enemy that's escaped. And hello to Alpha Proto saying, I liked the Parenthood, but I am part of the target demographic. Okay, because like I said, the shows from like when the WB first launched that anybody seems to really remember are the parent that is Unhappily Ever After. Like the only ones that launched that really like ran well, there was Unhappily Ever After, the Parenthood, and also the Wayans Brothers, which the Wayans Brothers and Unhappily Ever After, I never missed an episode of. Because yes, the Wayans Brothers, that was I remember finding that funny, and Unhappily Ever After because I was an early bloomer, and there was Nikki Cox always wearing something tight and low cut. And hello to Forever Lost right there. And also, the Parenthood was on, and that was also around the same time where HBO would air Meteor Man all the time. So, that it's not that I didn't watch Parenthood, it's just I liked Robert Townsend better in Meteor Man than the Parenthood.
On the WB were the Parenthood Sister, which they bought after it got canceled on another network, the Wayans Brothers, and Unhappily Ever After. The WB continued on until 2006 when it was merged with UPN and became the CW. The CW has now been around for 17 years and has outlasted both the WB and UPN. I started wondering why a lot of earlier shows, even the really obscure ones I've covered in previous episodes, often still ended up on YouTube, but only a few bits from these WB shows ended up here. Are they that bad?
I don't know, Carl. You were always the math guy. Me, I was always busy counting the cows.
I had an easier time finding Homeboys in Outer Space, and that's supposed to be one of the worst TV shows of all time.
Yeah, the Homeboys in Outer Space, the complete disaster of one of UPN's launch shows. Everybody remembers UPN launching with Star Trek Voyager, but that wasn't the only show they had. Yes, they also had Homeboys in Outer Space. Yeah, people didn't know the shows existed. I believe it was Weatherman earlier talked about how, when it came to like the WB or whatever, that when the network launched, they only had a smaller number of network affiliates compared to the other well-established major networks. Like by the point that the WB had launched and UPN had launched, like Fox had gone mainstream and was considered, one of the part of the establishment at that time because of the sheer success in merchandising of The Simpsons and also the X-Files, getting off the ground and being their big break at a show that was both, a big Emmy winner kind of show with all kinds of acclaim, as well as getting them multimedia merchandising, but also getting them actual huge ratings, where the X-Files was Fox's first show to get to the top 20 of the Nielsen ratings, I mean.
Which I very highly disagree with. Not saying that these are some great works that need to be preserved, but a lot of people worked on them, and I'm pretty sure they'd like it if someone was able to still watch them somehow.
And speaking of Nikki Cox and Unhappily Ever After, let's just look at this thumbnail for a bit. The Ode to Joy, or the Ode to Jugs, whichever one you prefer. Like I said, I am incredibly jealous of Bobcat Goldthwait too. When she was doing that show Unhappily Ever After, she was dating Bobcat Goldthwait. Why? How? I'm not questioning her taste in men. If anything, her taste in men in real life between dating Bobcat Goldthwait for years on end and then marrying Jay Moore, it's actually cruel to the common men who drool over her, because it gives that common man out there, watching her on Unhappily Ever After or whatever, it gives them a false hope that a woman like her is in their league. Like what happened, I remember when the Nostalgia Critic, he did that first viewing video for when he reviewed Freddy Got Fingered, and it's him and his brother talking about the movie as they're watching it, and the brother's like, oh, hey, she was well out of my league at that point. And he's like, wait, no, Drew Barrymore married Tom Green. She was totally in my league. Yes, early 2000s, Drew Barrymore gave us all false hope, considering, hey, she's looking at Tom Green and thinking husband material. Hey, I got a chance with a girl like that. Yes, even Bobcat Goldthwait's real voice is strange. Oh, yes. And yes, Nikki was super underrated. If you're referring to her, yeah. Or if you remember, after Unhappily Ever After ended, they went and the WB got her back to do a sitcom that was all about her that lasted a year and a half. If you remember, yeah, like right after Unhappily Ever After ended, they had her on that Norm Macdonald sitcom as a former prostitute. And then that quickly got canceled after when Norm Macdonald, but also Norm Macdonald had, people actively working against him because of the way he got fired off Saturday Night Live by actually being somebody who was challenging norms and, poking the bear and speaking truth to power, with him shitting on the Clintons and on OJ with his Weekend Update bits on Saturday Night Live. Yes. Or as Alpha Proto says, I wonder how she got her own show. Well, just take a good look at this thumbnail of her wardrobe from this one episode from Unhappily Ever After, and you see why. And also how, even though it was supposed to be a family sitcom, once she turned 18, then they started doing ads for the show. That's just, that is just her in a little miniskirt, looking like a very, very dirty girl. Like this. This poster for the WB, that's all about her. You think it's for her, the sitcom she starred in after the show, but no, then in a little corner there, yeah. Watch her on Unhappily Ever After down here. And yes, Norm Macdonald definitely made Saturday Night Live a trillion times better. And I saw like the last acting role she had before walking away from show business was voicing the Silver Sable on a Spider-Man cartoon. There was a Spider-Man cartoon show in the late 2000s I don't remember watching where she supposedly voiced Silver Sable. One of the few times the Silver Sable got any kind of other media exposure, because I don't remember seeing her on the 90s cartoon. She may have been on the 90s cartoon, but I just don't remember. And I remember the 90s Spider-Man a lot better than I remember the X-Men. And yes, Bobcat was hilarious in Police Academy, but besides, being wondering about how on earth Jay Moore and Bobcat Goldthwait were able to tap that, but then also at the same time, I'm also jealous of her son. Oh yeah, I do remember about that. I think like around the time they were starting to do the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, there was talk of developing Black Cat and Silver Sable spin-off movies, but I think now after so many of those Spider-Man spin-offs have failed that Sony's just giving up, and they're just going to focus on doing Spider-Man films in conjunction with Marvel. And of course, everyone and their brother on the internet photoshopping fan art of Sydney Sweeney as the Black Cat. I joke about you out there, the viewers, wanting to see Fiona right here being played by Sydney Sweeney in a movie, but imagine then quintuple that and you get just a fraction of the people out there that want to see Sydney Sweeney play Black Cat, or Sydney Sweeney as Power Girl, of course. Yes. A lot of WB sitcoms always felt like they were fake ones they would watch on an actual show. Yeah. I can actually see that. I think that's why Between Nikki Cox's Tits and Happily Ever After actually ran and was as well remembered as it is, was because of the similarities to Married with Children. Bobcat's a good dude. I can see why she, went out with him. Nikki thought it was funny, and that goes a long way with women. I heard he's a nice dude. Well, the fact that he was, this wacky comedian guy and a single father, and she was like, yeah, okay. For that, they met on the set of the show and then started having an actual relationship, and then after that, they stayed together after her, brief time with the Norm Macdonald show, and then her failed WB sitcom. And then she did that Las Vegas show where they completely wasted her. And although I think that's where she met Jay Moore, and eventually they got married. Yes. I miss when Bobcat was in kayfabe, in character, in the kind of voice, like he did on this show. So let's actually see the clip.
What's your favorite movie?
I guess I'd have to say the Rialto because they use real butter on their popcorn.
I said movie, not movie theater, you idiot. What's your favorite movie?
Well, of course, there's always Fritz Lang's seminal Metropolis, but with the passing of Akira Kurosawa, whenever I watch one of his movies, I'm reminded of how much I like Chinese food. Let's play more.
I meant horror movie. What's your favorite horror movie?
Can you tell that they did this around the time Scream was popular? Yeah, but back when Bobcat Goldthwait was the human Tasmanian devil, like if you watch Scrooge every Christmas, you know what I mean. We can't show that movie; it'll be like the Manson Family Christmas special. Ha!
Yentl?
And apparently before she was dating Bobcat Goldthwait, she was dating this guy. Like when the show first started, she was dating this dude who was playing her brother. At least she didn't marry him, you know, so that's better than the star of Dexter. Because, yeah, remember on that show, that guy actually wound up marrying and having kids with the actress playing his sister. Ew. No wonder that actress said yes to starring in The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Look, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna kill everyone around you. And all I have to say is, enjoy your popcorn.
How'd you know I was making popcorn? And why do you want to know what my favorite movie is? Listen, Mr. Leonard Maltin. If you think you can use my opinions for one of your stinking books, I'll sue you just like I sued Joseph Heller.
I'll call back later.
Hey, Ryan. This just came for you.
Did you see the little, I call that a gummy bear shot. Why? Because remember the Adventures of the Gummy Bears theme song? Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere. No wonder whenever I'd watch that show, I'd hear the theme song and then would think of Nikki Cox on this show. Yeah, that ginger guy also was one of the stars in Entourage, and yeah, that as well. So, out of all the people on the show to actually have something else that was, long running and successful after this, who would have expected to be the dumbass son? Although, if you're of that, also there was the other son on this show. He was the middle child on Malcolm in the Middle. After this, like as soon as this went off the air, then Malcolm in the Middle premiered, and he was one of the sons on that. So he had something out of this too.
They know what I did 100 years ago?
1988, Ryan. That's 10 years ago. Indeed. What? Ryan, you better watch out. Maniac like this could cut off your head, could disembowel you, could reach up for the toilet and drag you down to the depths of the sewers to live with discarded alligators in the cast of Welcome Back, Kotter.
I actually saw Rod Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
If they could only make her pants look tighter. Or as Forbes says, dude, if I was playing the fake brother to Nikki Cox, I would date her. I wouldn't give a fuck. It's not real. Although considering how messed up in the head most actors are, that, probably more likely there's a good chance of, him being like, oh, yeah, sis. Oh, God. You think mom and dad's going to catch us again? Is that the set for Married with Children? No, but close. And Nick, who's been a member for 35 months, says almost 3 years now. Hell yes. As now we are in the middle of this page right here. Yes. Like I said, giving you the goods where we've got, this is Fiona undressing to make sweet love to the British Prime Minister. But like I said, I'm doing it in a way where you don't have to see the guy at all. Not even have to see the guy's ass, like on, Cinemax movies at 1 a.m. Although, as I said earlier, I was always one of those where it came between picking your poison. I'd rather, see softcore porno where you have to look at the guy's ass thrusting into Shannon Tweed than to, get extreme close-ups of the guy's giant dick pounding into the woman. I like how you drew her face looking good. Thank you there, because you got the face, the feet, the ass. No. Well, this is for the foot people out there. Show feet. Well, you get your feet. I'm more of an ass man, so this is for the Billy Gunn fans out there. If you're a fan of Billy Gunn trying to become a solo wrestler in 1999, then I'm an ass man. And then, of course, you get a hint of it here, only for all of it to be there. But either way, Previs says, you gave her a nice ass? Well, thank you. Yes, she should have a nice ass. And, of course, that side boob with that nipple that we never got to see Nikki Cox naked, so we never really got to confirm what her tits really look like, but I certainly hope she had nice, big, thick baby bottle nipples there for the thing. Alpha Proto says that Billy Gunn was boring. If it wasn't for DX, he would have been released a long time ago. Well, there's that, yes. Well, if you remember, the different times they tried making him a solo star, it never worked. In the times where he was able to get, a successful spot in wrestling, it was in tag teams. Of course, most especially in the New Age Outlaws, where it was Road Dogg Jesse James doing most of the talking. And if you notice there, Billy Gunn in his prime as Badass Billy Gunn as part of the New Age Outlaws that eventually they put into DX. His big line was, if you ain't down with DX, we got 2 words for you. Suck it! And that was it. Oh, Freva says he's an ass man more than a booba man. Okay. Or as Nixon says, yes, I can see her butt, but I meant her face in the top panel. Her butt looks good for the record. Yes, that looks great. But then so as face right there as she's getting naked and getting this is how she's extracting data from all the electronic devices that the British Prime Minister has, as part of something she's doing spontaneously on behalf of a former MI5 agent who happens to be at Buckingham Palace under disguise. And of course, in the world of Encrypted, part of this was that only just recently had the real royal family been brought back and restored to the throne, since the royal family was replaced by blood-sucking reptilians from another dimension. Yes, in the world of Encrypted, David Icke was right. And we got Donnie in the chat as well, so that's great. Let's get back to more of the original carrot cake, the original fire crotch goddess of my dreams. I was barely in preschool when watching her on this show and wondering what was happening in my pants.
Yeah? What'd you say to him?
Say, honey, hang up my jacket in the closet, will you? Oh, that's right.
Out of the closet monster for you.
I remember him from Malcolm in the Middle, one of the other kids.
So you had to pull your ear off, monster, huh? So you had to... Guys, I don't want to hear any more about the closet monster. It was dark. I was 10. It's taken me a lot of years to overcome my fear of that closet. But I have. Watch.
Now, if only she got to play Batgirl, then she would have been great. Or, well, remember, her sitcom on the WB ended, and, well, not too long after that was when Birds of Prey premiered. I mean, they could have had her as Oracle on the show. As much as Dina Meyer is my queen, who was the only good live-action Batgirl on Birds of Prey, our lady right here also would have been great.
Perfectly fine. Not funny, you guys. What Ryan did scarred me for life. Now, he's gonna pay.
That's the tight leather. No. Except then when, her career drifted and sputtered in the 2000s, you did then pretty much, taking up the slack was Jamie Presley between, multiple big comedy movie roles and then also her Golden Globe and Emmy winning role on My Name is Earl. You had Jamie Presley, take up the slack and actually have a bigger career as a hot piece of ass who also actually had genuine comedic timing. Yeah, Jamie Presley, who went from showing her tits, David Dakota movie to an Emmy and Golden Globe winning career.
Yeah.
Ross! Damn you and your battery-sucking boombox.
Hey, Ryan, could you get me a diet soda?
Please, Paul!
Hey, Ryan, what does that thing say?
Excuse me. I'll be right back.
He's so stupid. He's a moron. He's useless. Hey, Ryan, could you get that?
Hello, you idiot. Read the note on the refrigerator door. Comprehend what you read?
Hey, Ryan, what you got there? You look really frightened.
I think they agreed with me about making her pants tighter.
They're saving that title for the Jan Michael Vincent story. Call Barbara. She's not home. What is wrong with you? Ah! It's Ross! Ryan, I confess, I'm the one that made the calls. It was a joke at first, but somebody's turning my harmless joke into a deadly nightmare. Ah! Pull it together!
I'm okay now. I'm okay. Tiffany, these murders have happened way too fast. The killer's got to be right here inside the house. But who could the killer be?
Well, I think we should kill James Bond. Or can we?
Well, I think we know who the killer is.
Yep. I don't know about you, but I'm going upstairs to get my trusty baseball bat. What took you so long?
Well, I couldn't find my baseball bat, so I had to decide between my curling iron and my lucky lady leg razor. With aloe. Yeah, I cut myself with it last week and it hurt. Really stung real bad.
Look at this.
They're bringing back Malcolm in the Middle. I didn't know that. That was a show where I actually remember watching that a lot more than most other. I know it ran a long time, but I don't really remember a lot of people that also talked about watching it, Malcolm in the Middle. So if it's then, of course, because I watched it so much, then when Breaking Bad premiered, I remember seeing the ads for it and thinking, all right, the Malcolm in the Middle dad is going to be a meth maker now. Okay. And then it becomes, the new obnoxiously praised show after The Wire went off the air. Except unlike The Wire, it actually won Emmys. Like, if you don't remember how much Breaking Bad got so worshipped, I'll show you this.
Liberty Mutual.
Let's get past this ad first.
You will recommend Breaking Bad to everyone you know.
I will recommend Breaking Bad to everyone I know.
Breaking Bad is the best show you've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
Breaking Bad is the best show I've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
You will never stop talking about Breaking Bad or The Wire.
I will never stop talking about Breaking Bad or The Wire.
It's funny because it's true. Saying, well, remember, Breaking Bad was created by Vince Gilligan, a longtime writer and producer on The X-Files. So maybe that little, red band, green band subliminal signal to control people in TV signals on an episode of The X-Files is something that he wound up actually doing with why so many people worshipped Breaking Bad. Forever says, I've never seen The Wire or Breaking Bad. I might one day. I did see the first year of The Wire. And considering, where I spent so much of my childhood in, Southern Maryland and Northern Virginia, I mean, that stuff why would I want to watch a show of something I saw, day to day? Just saying. I will never stop talking about Breaking Bad. Yes, the Hypnotoad. Brrr. And speaking of something hypnotizing, you want to see her with the sweet jugs right here? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Keenan Ivory Wayans. And I just noticed there, David L. Greer sitting down there. Okay.
Tiffany, the sexy teenage daughter on the WB series Unhappily Ever After. Take a look.
I really like this sex stuff.
You do, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Do you want me, baby?
Yeah! Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Well, forget it. Because you are never going to have me.
Well, that is actual acting for her. A natural redhead telling a man that he's not going to have her. That's like when Julianne Moore does a role where she doesn't get naked and fuck half her co-stars. Although knowing, how ginger women are, I'm pretty sure that then afterwards she immediately stormed back into her trailer and rode Bobcat Goldthwait like a bronco, to the point where she couldn't stand up for an hour. Just saying. And Weatherman were here, he would definitely understand where I'm coming from with that.
He wore that just for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm jealous. I want one.
So how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
welcome back to the show.
thank you. Actually, last night I was at a convenience store with my roommate, and a guy asked me what I was doing tonight, and asked me if I was wanting to come to a taping of the Keenan Ivory Wayans show. And I told him I was busy. I said thank you, but I have plans. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, we need. I guess we need to talk to the people handing out the tickets.
Your recruiters.
Yeah, they don't even know who's on the
He
show.
was very friendly. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So how's things going on the show?
Oh, they're going fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
There's new stuff happening. I guess I'm supposed to tell you about. Apparently, the characters decided that it's time to be deflowered. I guess that's the clip that you just saw. She's decided to lose her virginity.
Oh.
In real life, I lost my virginity so long ago, I can't remember. One time, I was there waiting for Bobcat in the kitchen. He came down and I was naked, smothering my titties in chocolate sauce and saying, "It's breakfast time, Daddy." And he liked it. RJ says, it seemed in the mid to late 90s, everyone was trying to be the new Arsenio. You had the Chevy Chase show. You had Keenan had a show. Yes, Magic Johnson with The Magic Hour, which had Sheila E. running the house band, I remember. Yes. Or as Frubba says, man, Bobcat was a lucky dude, to woo these redheads like this. And then, of course, afterwards, Jay Moore, after his career completely collapsed in the 90s, wound up marrying her and had a baby. I wonder if he got his turn to breastfeed. You don't think there he was, waiting for his turn after feeding the baby? She was a responsible mother, getting up at 8 a.m. to warm the baby's bottle, and then her husband's bottle at 9.
And this week I'm drunk. This week I'm a big lush, so you know.
So
I'm a bad girl, man.
You're gonna get drunk and lose your virginity?
Watch and see.
Can I be a guest
Usually goes.
You want to be a guest all day?
He's welcome to.
Please,
do.
please, I want to be on your show.
Please do. You can use all the help we can get, man.
So wait, now why is she drunk and losing her virginity?
Oh, two separate storylines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not all at
Oh,
once.
okay.
Although that's usually how things happen, I guess, in real life. No. This week she gets drunk at a party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now what's this I hear about you having an accident on the show?
I'm very accident prone. I fall constantly, incessantly. It's really embarrassing. It's a bad thing. Thanks. It's not okay with me. It's not okay with my legs. They're bruised. And I was carrying a hot cup of coffee and walking along thinking, all right, I'm doing okay. I'm walking in heels, not falling. This is good. Of course, boom, trip, coffee right on the chest. And that was the problem. I could have literally cut off my head and they wouldn't have noticed. But, don't burn the cleavage. That was the problem.
I'm guessing while her skin healed on her titties, they wound up still having her wear something very tight and very leathery. Having her wear some tight leather. Forever says, I hear Miss Moore was wild as hell in Hollywood. Well, considering that Julianne Moore was so convincing as a porn star in the likes of Boogie Nights, don't be surprised. Or no, later on, even she was well past middle age, and that movie she did with the dumb blonde from Mean Girls, where she hires her as a hooker to try and seduce her husband into an affair, and then she winds up sleeping with the hooker. And then the hooker winds up becoming a clingy psychopath because it turns out she has mommy issues and she tasted the Julianne Moore pussy, and the narcotic side effects of Julianne Moore's pussy has now led to her wanting Julianne Moore as her mommy.
All the producers rush over to help out.
I guess bubbling flesh isn't in this season. So
Yeah, I wonder how many times you heard she's need mouth to cleavage resuscitation.
No. It was just sort of funny because I know that anything could have happened to my face or my heart could have broken and it wouldn't matter as long as the flake. It was fine as long as I looked sexy. So.
Well, I'll say that sort of hint at being frustrated about all about your tits. Well, instead of continuing to drag along a career in Hollywood and then jump onto social justice dogma to have a career artificially propped up by that shit, a la Wanda Sykes, she decided enough of this shit and just walked away to go focus on being a mother. Forever, yes. So the movie is called Chloe, where yes, Julianne Moore is like that and all that. And there's even a scene of her using the shower head the way we know all women use detachable shower heads for, while fantasizing about her husband cheating on her in a botanical garden. And that's before the scene of taking Chloe to a hotel, and then there they are naked while Julianne Moore is laying there naked while this naked little kitten prostitute is kissing her and fingering her and looking at her with a doe-eyed, innocent desire of, am I making you happy, mommy?
Well,
pays the bills, I guess, right?
Trust us, you're sexy without the cleavage.
No.
It's extra, but not bad to have, but you'd be doing.
Notice where his eyes are in this shot. And we'll remember, ladies and gentlemen, Keenen Ivory Wayans did make his film debut in Star 80 as a comedian performing at a Playboy club, so it's only fitting. If you've ever seen that movie, Star 80.
Well, thank you.
Now, what's this about your phone number? You had to change it?
Apparently, I haven't changed it because I think it's kind of funny. My phone number is like one digit off from a masseuse. So I get constant calling of, men whispering, yes, I'm looking for the relaxation. The relaxation. So.
That was me.
Was that you?
It's 5-0. Okay.
You didn't know. Honest mistake.
I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. You're forgiven. So yeah, it happens constantly, and I hang up on the guys. Obviously, I feel bad for them. What's
Well,
what
what
do
do
you
you
do?
say when?
Sometimes I say, ew, no, no. Other times they just hang up.
So
I
it's
don't
either-
play along. No.
You don't play along?
No.
Oh, you could get them to do some really funny stuff, you know.
I probably could.
You better tape those calls. It may be a president.
Credit to David Allen Greer for shit talking Clinton like that. Forever referring to that movie, Chloe, sounds like that movie was a Hollywood writer fanfic wet dream. It actually was a Canadian art house film from an acclaimed director who also had done movies that Harvey Weinstein released. I've talked before about that one like art house drama from the mid-90s called Exotica that was this like elliptical interwoven multi-character drama, but the marketing for it made it look like a Red Shoe Diaries style Skinamax movie. Yeah, it's from that director.
It had to be.
It had to happen.
Just
It's
cover
inevitable.
yourself.
So I'm glad everything is going good. Thanks for coming
fine.
by, and we'll
Thanks
be
for
looking
having
for
me.
your deflowering episode. It's always good to see you. Nikki Cox, check out Unhappily Ever After Sundays on the WB. We'll be right back right after this.
So, do you think that the man had the Riz like our friend Craig Ferguson? Or let's go and compare that to Craig Ferguson with a swimsuit model. Because a lot of people think, although I'll say, a lot of people say, oh yeah, guys like him, oh yeah, they're only charming to women if it's American women because they're easily mesmerized by a guy with an accent. But then, as we've seen with the multiple appearances that Alice Eve made, that Craig Ferguson was also able to rizz up women that also have British accents. So, not quite. No, he actually had the skill. So now there's this one Sports Illustrated swimsuit model that dated Bradley Cooper for years on end. So let's show that. Pump that rump. Gangster booty. Put more ass in that ass. Here it is.
Irina Shayk, everybody, Irina Shayk. Hello, Irina. Hi. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Irina.
Irina.
Or Irina.
Irina. Irina or Irina?
Irina.
Irina. Is Russian?
Yes.
You're-
Do you know my last?
She looks like some kind of hot South American, but she's actually Russian. There is some Russia collusion going on in my pants, if you know what I mean. Not even close to Craig. Don't get me wrong. The dude is funny, but something is missing. I can't put my finger on it. Now, that something that was missing is probably now you know why Keenan Ivory Wayans doing a late night show failed, like, all the other late night shows that failed to try to cash in on or, usurp Johnny Carson falling apart. Not falling apart, Johnny Carson retiring. Johnny Carson quits the Tonight Show, and then the quick, collapse of Arsenio Hall. I'm guessing they all tried to go and do the new be like the new Arsenio Hall show, the new hip late night show, and they all failed.
Last name, by the way?
Shayk?
Do you know my full last name?
What is your full last name?
Sheikh Islamova.
Say that again.
Sheikh Islamova.
And one more time.
Sheikh Islamova.
Well, hey, an impronounceable last name, okay? I can relate. Of all the people in the stream that have something in common with a woman as gorgeous as Irina Shayk, it's me. Nah, 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 nah.
Thank you. Where are
Where are you from in Russia?
Well, it's a very small village. It's in the middle of nowhere, like 3 hours away from Moscow. And it's very cold there, but a lot of beautiful women. You have to go.
Yeah, anytime you like, I'm there. I liked Russia very much when I was there. It was lovely. I went to Moscow and St. Petersburg. You ever been to St. Petersburg?
Yes.
Oh, it's lovely there.
It's so beautiful.
I was so shocked. It's like Paris.
I know.
So the film Hercules, you play Mrs. Hercules?
Yes.
Oh yeah, remember that? Like, I think it was 2014 when Hollywood was really trying to make Hercules a thing again because they had that Dwayne Johnson Hercules movie, and they also had another big one around that time. And yeah, and of course, like, you know, almost every other Sports Illustrated swimsuit model from the 90s onwards. It seems, especially like if you're a swimsuit model that gets the cover of the swimsuit issue, they try to cross you over into movies. And pretty much to a woman, they all failed except for Rebecca Romaine. As Craig always seems to feel more playful, you know, the Wayans brother, he's clearly thirsty, you know. But clearly, ladies and gentlemen, Keenen Ivory Wayans has been, taken into Hollywood by the white man's poison. The white man's poison to the black man in Hollywood being the white woman. Yes. RJ says, not a Putin guy, but Russian women are truly gifted. Yes. She wasn't Russia, but my God, did she play the horny Russian perfectly with Famke Janssen in GoldenEye. If you remember Miss Xenia on the top. The she who stays on top of things. Exactly.
Yes. I play Megara.
Megara Hercules.
Megara.
Yes.
Is wife of Hercules and mother of his children.
Right.
And yeah.
Does something bad happen to you and then he has to wreck the joint?
Yeah, kind of. I can't.
Megara, the wife of Hercules, who, if you remember, speaking of Nikki Cox, the sitcom that she did after Unhappily Ever After, where she's supposed to be a Las Vegas dancer, I remember her like best friend on the show was the voice of Megara in the Disney Hercules. And because she actually had like a background as a Broadway performer, she actually also got to do her singing as well as the voice acting.
I don't think it's a spoiler, really. I mean, it's kind of a thing, you know, like, especially early on in the movie.
Yes. Say hello to my new electric eraser right here. Thanks to the people at Hobby Lobby, because Hobby Lobby was across the street from the FedEx office, so I went and got this. I have to press down on the button and then... It kind of feels like, handling it kind of feels like I'm giving my artwork a haircut. It feels like hair clippers in my hand. But let's change the perspective to the one we know you want to see, with Eilina and those gorgeous legs and everything about her being absolutely immaculate.
Be like he's all happy, and I'm thinking it's not going to go well because you can't have a movie for 2 hours with Dwayne Johnson going, well, everything's cool.
Something bad gotta happen, so something bad happened to me.
Yeah.
But I can't give you away like all the movies.
No, and nor should you.
You have to get a ticket and see it.
Yes, and I will.
You better.
No, I'll be there opening night. When is it? Friday?
That's a good question. Yeah.
No, listen, I've got nothing on until August 7th, so I'll be there.
2025. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, do you live in Los Angeles now?
No, New York.
New York. Yes, that's you like it there?
I do. New York is such a great city to be.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Did you ever do any modeling by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do the runway modeling?
Yes.
Oh, right. Yes. I imagine you probably did. Yeah. Normally I can speak, but
not today.
Having a bit of a hard time this evening. Don't know what it is. It's kind of hot in the studio. I'm feeling a little. Is it hot in here? Well, you're wearing
that,
I'm wearing so yeah.
You, Jeff?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I love your blue eyes.
I love everything about you. I'm no longer...
and he's gay.
Yeah. Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're in.
Basically, Jeff right there is the anti-Wanda Sykes. The woman who won't shut up about being a queer black woman, even though she spent years married to a man and doing stand-up about heterosexual relationships. If you ever see that bitch Wanda Sykes on Twitter, clap back at her when she's constantly parading around her performative sexuality by reminding her of her husband. Just remember that.
You're in a little village, 2 hours away from Moscow. How did you end up in the film business then?
Well, basically happened out of blue. My sister have a sister, older sister, and she.
Your sister had a sister of a sister?
Yeah, I do have a sister. I'm sorry you don't understand my Russian accent because you're a Scottish accent.
Yeah, no, it's bad. I know.
Jeff, can you help me?
I have no idea what either one of you are saying.
Yeah, but nobody cares. It's fine.
So basically, I do have a sister, and she asked me to join her to go to a beauty school, and I went, and one manager from Russia came there and discovered me there, and he asked me if I want to go to Paris, and I say no.
Oh.
But then I changed my mind.
Yes.
And I went to Paris, and
You like Paris?
I do, but I prefer St. Petersburg.
You prefer St. Petersburg? I think I might too. No.
So, and then I went to New York, and
Yes.
Sports Illustrated discovered me back in 2007.
And from that you did the modeling, and then this is your first film?
Yes,
Then?
it's very small role, but it's very important character for the movie.
You damn straight it is. I mean, look, Dwayne Johnson has been here. He's a lovely man. He's a terrific fella, but I'm not going to see the movie for him.
Jeff, what about you? Are you going to see a movie?
Oh yeah, no, I'll be there. I'll be hell yeah. Yeah,
He and I are going to go together.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you are. We're out of time, sadly. I can't believe I spent all that time with Regis. Why didn't you tell me? Irina, good luck with the movie. It's lovely to meet you. Thank you much. Irina, shake everybody.
Well, entertaining, isn't it? As a host, you will meet a ton of pretty women. You always have to be cool and have the air of a I don't care how pretty you are. Make it smooth. Yeah, women pick up on charisma, as opposed to leering dork who clearly every woman under 30 that was a guest of his could sue him for sexual harassment, like David Letterman, or the stammering doofus nerd who's always the high school dweeb at heart, Conan O'Brien, where Conan always was so jittery and shy around women like that attractive, and Letterman basically was one step short of Harvey Weinstein. And then you have Mr. Ferguson right here getting all, he's getting it up. Although, for people who shit on Jay Leno had all kinds of hot women regularly appearing on his show, and he, went and actually treated them like a guest, treated them like a person, as opposed to either being so jittery and stuttering or, leering pervert like Letterman. If Alpha Proto says, you need more guests, Luke, you should interview people about their projects. People love that stuff. I mean, I would love to. It's just that I don't really have the type of connection base with other creators where then it would be a thing of would they want to be on my show to promote their projects? Or say if I were able to go and get people in comics like name people in the industry, like say Howard Chaykin or Jim Steranko, people I would love to be able to contact with and get them to appear on the show, on the channel. I would love that. But one of the things for the sake of, doing more work to expand the circulation of Encrypted would probably also be maybe then getting more people involved, or then, more connections, or then I could be able to get that sort of situation where somebody would want to come on in and see, give insight or talk, like say, Howard Chaykin appearing on Dave Finch's channel. Except, David Finch being a long time A-list artist, of course, he's going to be able to get, Hall of Fame talent to appear. Let's see. Oh, here's one.
Taxes feel
A very filthy French girl. And when I went and the times I've been in the chat for Billy Tucci's channel, on my channel memberships, you can see the members-only interview I conducted with Billy Tucci and with his wife when they appeared at the Motor City Comic Con a couple years ago. And yeah, Billy Tucci did compliment my interviewing skills there, but I mean, that would be great to always see. As Forever says, and agrees with me, Jay Leno always played into how much he wasn't a smooth guy. That's sort of, be yourself or be funny. With Jay Leno, it actually worked. He was the type of guy who was like, oh yeah, he was the guy who he knew, he was fully aware of himself, his station in life as a stand-up who fell into it. So that kind of attitude worked. Hence why, he was able to get, Pam Anderson in her prime to appear on the Tonight Show. He was saying more than, leering pervert Letterman.
Young lady, first of all, welcome. You look sensational, may I say.
Thank you
Just
so much.
fantastic. And congratulations on this film. It's really wonderful.
I'm really happy you like it.
Yes, because I am the barometer for America's taste. If I don't like it, no one goes to see it.
This is wonderful.
Were you a fan of the James Bond franchise before?
I was.
Really?
Yeah, I swear. I swear.
But you're French.
I'm French, but I was a fan.
Okay.
Because in France, we get to see a lot of
You have cinema?
No, I'm lying. But I'm just, I try to pretend that I knew James Bond before.
No, of course you knew James Bond before. The Sean Connery was very popular in France?
It was the first, actually, so people really like him.
Yeah, no. Everyone always says he was the best, and he is, and don't get mad. But I think this Daniel Craig is getting up there. He's getting really good.
He's so good, but Sean Connery is from your country.
Yes, he is. And
So
I've
this
met
is a
Sean
good
Connery.
point,
He's a
actually.
god to us in Scotland. No, he is. And have you ever met him?
No, unfortunately not.
He's like, I think he's like 120. And
Just
like
the right age.
yeah, and when women meet him, they're like, ooh. He's like, very nice to meet you, Berenice.
Speaking of Riz, the fact that Sean Connery was a fragile elderly man and women still wanted to ride him like a bull. When it comes to that natural charisma or whatever, yeah, there it is. The women picked up on it, hence why Sean Connery went from being a milkman to actor. Yes. Yes, back when Daniel Craig's Bond was watchable. Or as Alpha Proto says, wow, she looks like Raquel Welch. I could see that, but not as curvy as Raquel Welch. This actress has more of that, European, like French runway model kind of figure to me. Like the actress who starred in La Femme Nikita in the 90s, the original La Femme Nikita movie from France, Anne Perriot. She also was the hot French vampire girl in Innocent Blood. That was like her one big thing in Hollywood after La Femme Nikita was such a big hit around the world.
Yeah, she does that voice, which has the same effect on women as a French accent has on a man.
Stop it. I will not be able to control myself.
No,
Let's do it again.
I'll talk like this all. I can have a night if it gets.
Well, I mean, Craig Ferguson, like all other Scotsmen, he loves the movie Highlander. If you want to try to try the Christopher Lambert voice, the French emphysema patient voice of Frenchman Christopher Lambert playing Connor MacLeod.
I can do that.
You shouldn't have started that, Craig. It's a very dangerous game. You don't know French people. We are terrible with accents and Scottish accents specifically.
Oui. So, do you still live in France or do you live here?
No, I'm going to move here.
You're moving to LA?
I'm moving to LA. I love the weather here.
Yes, they have some.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you're here? You're going to go surfing? Are you going to become a very LA person?
Oh, well, I don't know how to swim, actually.
To
swim?
To swim. Oh, yeah.
To swim?
You don't want to swim on the beaches around here anyway.
No.
It's not so much swimming, it's more kind of going through the motions, if you know what I mean.
Swimming among the sharks.
Well, there are sharks, yes. I've swum with sharks. Have you ever swum with it? Yes.
How was it?
No, I wasn't frightened at all.
I believe you.
I was like, yes, okay, shark.
No! Stop it! You're gonna excite me too much.
No, I'm very pleased that works. So you're moving to Los Angeles. Your English is very good as well.
Thank you so much. Yours is good too.
Well, you know.
I don't get everything, but
no, I don't. I think that when I talk, not a lot of Americans understand what I'm saying, but they're very friendly people.
Yeah.
They're very welcoming. So they're like, gosh, he's just cute. Just give him a show and that'll be nice. Yes. Have you ever been to New Zealand?
Oh, you know, this is one of my dreams, going to Australia and New Zealand.
I had a dream once I was the Prime Minister of Australia.
Really?
Have you ever had that dream?
Now that you're asking, and now that you know each other very closely.
Yes, of course.
I can tell you, this was one of my biggest dreams.
To be the Prime Minister of Australia?
With you.
I don't... I think they'd let you do it. I think they're like, yeah, all right, if she can do it, yeah. You've never been down there?
No.
It's lovely. It's very, very nice.
And I love the Aka song. You know, like the warrior, the rugby crew.
Oh, yes, yes. When they play the rugby and the...
It's very powerful.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. All that.
Stop it.
Well, you'll like the American football then. Have you watched that?
No, not
Oh,
yet.
it's
I have
fantastic.
to.
Oh, a lot of big men crashing into each other.
Oh,
You'll be very
so
pleased.
sexy.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? We'll have to get you a car. You'll have to drive in LA.
And I don't drive.
No, Parisians don't drive.
We don't.
No, of course
You're
not.
so right.
Well, I lived in Paris for a while.
Yeah? How was it?
It's awesome.
I don't know why I don't believe you.
No, it's true. I lived in the 6th arrondissement for a little while.
6.
Yeah, the 6th à côté Jardin de Luxembourg.
Oui.
Yeah.
And he speaks French. You're so cute.
Yes, I am. Well, we took the show to Paris.
Yeah?
This show, we went to Paris. We went to... What part of Paris are you from?
From the 11th district.
Oh, that's terribly nice.
That's...
Is it? I don't know. Is that up near the Marais?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I know. That's up where the...
Yeah. This is where, yeah. Exactly.
Wow, you're from there?
Yeah.
You're quite tough then.
Yeah, I know. I have plenty of qualities. You know, you don't know
have plenty
any
of qualities.
any of them.
I think I know some of them. But I'm being a gentleman.
Please say them. I want to hear you say my qualities in front of everybody.
Now you're shaming me, Berenice. You're shaming me.
Don't be ashamed. No, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Feel at home, please. Say your impressions of me. Don't be shy.
I think you're a charming and talented young woman. I think that your film is very, very exciting, and I like your what's going on here.
Oh.
We're out of time. You want? Would you like some fruit?
Yes, please.
Okay.
If you're trying to impress me, that doesn't work at all. I've seen that before. Even in Paris, we do have fruits, you know?
Yes, I know. I'm telling you, I did live in Paris. I lived near a place where fruit was available. Would you care for a pomegranate?
Please.
Here it is, then. I'll just take the pomegranate side. That's how you pronounce it. You should do that for your English. Put labels on everything.
Yes, you should leave it, actually.
All right, so I'll leave it on. So is it pomegranate in French? Le pomegranate?
Pomegranate. I don't even
Pomegranate?
know. That's a shame, but I don't even know how to say that in French.
Well, that's okay. You can have this too. I don't know what it is.
Pomelo.
What?
A pomelo.
You've solved the mystery.
And yes, Alva Proto, dang, this lady is charming. And the fact that we haven't seen her in bigger things after this movie, after this, I think this was Quantum of Solace, that's definitely a sign of how she didn't fuck Harvey Weinstein. The fact that she actually has, charm, unlike some of the other swimsuit models, whatever you see, who either they're just completely vapid, or, especially the ones with the accent tend to be so aloof and full of themselves. Then you've got this woman with some actual charm behind the French accent. So yes. Or Alpha Proto suggests, besides saying no to Harvey Weinstein, maybe she must have gotten married to a rich guy and, quit modeling. I mean, there is that too. And yes, Craig Ferguson's from Glasgow right there. I watched him to learn the Glaswegian accent for a role. Forever wants to know if he got the part. Yeah, I got called back a few times. I don't think that will happen again. I think I got canceled as a voice actor. I have not heard from Okatron 5000 Studios since I went to Anime Matsuri in 2022. Well, it makes sense considering Anime Matsuri is that's the big convention in Texas where all the big anti-woke YouTubers always go. Eric July, that was like the big, huge coming out party for the Rippaverse. And then there's all the FNT crews always go down there. I mean, considering how much, how many people pre-ordered issue 1 of Encrypted are down in Texas. I won't say their names out loud, but yeah, I got so many orders from down there in Texas. Maybe you'll find me, going down south for the Anime Matsuri or a convention in the area in the future. As RJ says, Harvey got the bastards who are wooden to sleep with him, and they got the opportunity good people should have had. We won't forgive. Yes. Abject, brain-dead, vapid, rich bitch skank like Jennifer Lawrence, whose acting range is monotone or shrieking, gets to be a movie star and an Oscar winner entirely on the back of shitty acting, but incessant, obnoxiously performative cool girl shtick in the public eye, all because she went and gave Harvey Weinstein and David O. Russell, the right a bullseye for their bukkake parties. Yeah, definitely. As opposed to this lady who actually has natural charm, as opposed to the forced, Amy Schumer with carb control that basically was the Jennifer Lawrence personality.
Of the giant green fruit. Then it's yours.
Thank you.
We're right back,
Notice that the rhino head on the wall. That's nice. All right, let's see another one. Not. Like I said, the leering creep Letterman. Here he is with Sharon Stone right there when Basic Instinct made her a star. No thanks. Let's look at another one. How about a Mrs. Deadpool right here? Yes. Yeah, Marina Baccarin from the Deadpool movies.
Look at you, woman. You look sensational.
Yes, as Alpha Proto says, 90s Sharon Stone's the peak example of a blonde woman. Indeed. And then she was an actress who really misunderstood her range and really thought she was too big for her britches, literally because of Basic Instinct, and then a succession of miscast starring vehicles that failed drastically, with the exception of Scorsese knowing what to do with her as an actress, so he actually got a good performance out of her in Casino, among the sludge of shit like Liver or The Quick and the Dead, or that remake of that 80s gangster movie where it's the mafia girlfriend trying to take in and protect the boy whose parents got killed by the mafia she's involved in, Gloria.
Just
Stop.
amazing.
Just stop. All right, come on.
No, you do. I tell you, before we get started, I just wanted to say, Brecken's introduced a new thing about when you finish the conversation, you get up on the desk and...
He totally screwed me. I was going to do that anyway.
Well, we can cut his butt out, even although this is a live show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. Have you recovered? Because I know you're Brazilian and there was the World Cup and all that.
We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
We're not going to talk about that because I'm going to cry.
That's what happens when a Brazilian man gets himself some white meat, or when a, male white meat gets himself a Brazilian lady, and then you wind up having a lady like this.
Do you want to see me cry?
No, I do not want to see you cry.
Seriously, how are we ever going to live this down?
I think actually...
Well, yeah. For us to say, it's so hard. It's bad to believe she's so weird today. Hard to believe that's the same Sharon Stone from the '90s, where like the most recent positive thing about her being that power of women, vanity, variety appearance. That variety event that was done with Sydney Sweeney in the sheer dress like that with her tits out, and there was Sharon Stone with getting her photo with Sweeney right there. Like the most recent, actual movie role I saw her in was a small part in the movie about Linda Lovelace, the big porn star from the '70s, where Linda Lovelace played by the prostitute that Julianne Moore leses off with in that movie Chloe, where we see her growing up and her parents are Sharon Stone and Robert Patrick.
Brazil will rise from this, and it'll actually be a good thing for them in the end. It will stop.
Really?
Yes, a little bit of humble pie. There'll be a better team than I have no idea what they're
No
going to do.
humble pie. We should have won. It was on our soil.
I don't know. I mean, when you get beat, by over 6 goals in one match, at that point, it's kind of like it's not a lucky win. It's like you weren't robbed.
I know. The joke in my household as we were watching was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna miss another goal from Germany. I should wait.
Yeah. Well, do you follow the soccer, or you just? Oh, really?
I do a little bit. Yeah. I mean, mostly the World Cup, but I follow some Brazilian soccer.
See, but I think that most Americans, because you're kind of an American now, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think most Americans, soccer's like swimming. For 4 years you don't care about it, and then you're like, "Oh, USA, swim like crazy!" And then I'm gonna watch swimming on TV.
I actually love both because I'm a swimmer.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah. So I do 2 things that people don't care about.
No, I'd watch you swim. Do you want to show us any of your swimming moves?
On your desk?
Yeah, sure. Imagine this. Hey,
easy.
Excuse me a second. Dream on. Please. So is that your keep fit? Is that your secret for your swimming?
I do. I swim. I love it. It's very meditative,
Yeah, well, I swim I get bored swimming.
Do you?
Yeah, unless there's a shark or something. You ever done that? You ever swum with sharks?
Actually, I have in Australia.
Oh.
Look at that. You never know what you're going to find out about me.
I'm interested. Hold on. Okay, so why were you swimming? Was it by accident? Did a shark come up, or did
No. I was in the Great Barrier Reef, and you go not scuba diving, snorkeling as one does, and there were reef sharks around, and we.
Oh, reef sharks! Come on,
they're sharks.
They're Edelweiss. The reef shark. The reef shark. Why, if there was a reef shark here now, he would ask me if I knew where there was a store. The reef shark is the pointless shark.
Okay, why would I swim with real sharks?
You make a fair point, but they, because they're, they're exciting, interesting, amazing animals. Very frightening, though.
Yeah, I'd rather just see them in a zoo or something, an aquarium,
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair enough. What do you do there? What kind of animals do you like? Do you like horse riding, kangaroos, any of those things? Dingoes?
I was dingoes. No, they still babies.
Oh, but you got a baby. You got to stay away from the dingoes. Exactly. Yeah. What is it? What is it?
Well, she's had some babies, and those puppies have been put to work. So, I mean, whoever's the father of them babies, yes, lucky man, and keep those babies away from the dingoes. And I don't mean the actual babies; I mean those babies.
Your baby now?
He's 9 months today.
Oh, congratulations!
It's his birthday.
9 months today, August the 7th.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So he 9 months today, August the 7th.
Yeah.
Or is he? Well, it sounds to me he's old for his age, so he looks like 10 months for his age, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Like 9.5. Yeah.
That's good. And everything going okay? You get
Everything's
sleep?
great. We
Yeah.
no, there's no sleeping happening
No,
in my household.
never again, actually.
No, but he just braved 2 months in Morocco. Actually, I was shooting a film there.
Morocco? How was that with a baby?
Not great. I'm gonna say not great. It was
Right.
hot. It was really hot.
As hot as it is here today, probably?
Hotter.
No way.
Whatever it is here, it's on August 7th.
Right.
It is hotter in Morocco.
I've been to Morocco. I liked it a lot, but I don't know if I would take a young star.
I know.
there.
In retrospect, probably not the wisest choice, but it was a good experience for him.
What part of Morocco were you in?
It was in a city called Ouarzazate, which is in the middle of well, not the middle. It's sort of the mouth of the Sahara. It's
wow.
Yeah, it was really dusty.
Yeah, very dusty,
Kind of
dry,
gross. And we were doing a biblical epic called Red Tent.
I read that book.
Yes,
Yeah, the Red Tent. Yeah,
it's a chick book.
Yeah, well, know your enemy. Really? No, I read it. I read it a while back. I can't remind me. It's about lady.
Vaginas.
Yeah, well, vaginas,
Yeah.
yes, but it's about the.
It's the retelling.
It's
No, it's the retelling of the Jacob, Rachel, Dina story. It's the Red Tent is where the women go to like menstruate and give birth.
Right.
And it involves all the wives, Jacob's wives.
Oh yes, I remember all that.
Well, I think we all are for women. One of the reasons why it's the straight white men out there that vote Republican that are all for women having their own spaces is mainly on account of, well, especially during those delightful few days that a woman has to put up with. Women deserve their own spaces, yes, and for those own spaces to be protected, like women's spaces for menstruating. I know we all have seen that and understand that about the women needing their own spaces.
All that stuff.
I didn't get all the way through it.
The truth comes out.
No, I remember reading it now because I thought it was about a brothel, and then I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Almost. I felt like I was in a brothel. I didn't really think it through when I took the job. I played a midwife, and it meant that I was going to be elbow deep in vaginas the entire time I was shooting.
I'm listening.
Seriously, I showed up to work one day, and nobody bothered to warn me that somebody was giving birth, and she was actually going to be naked.
What? Well, it was an actress pretending.
But she was like, she took off her underwear, and I was kneeling, and she was standing.
Slower.
And the camera was behind her, and my face was in her.
Yeah, this is the greatest movie I've ever heard of.
It was scary.
Yeah, no, I know. The first time you see one, they're pretty frightening, but soon you learn to love them.
I don't want to learn to love them.
Well, I don't know. Keep an open mind, for God's sakes. No, when's that coming out then?
I don't know. End of the year.
All right. Well, that's. I'll be looking for a gig around about then. So I'll maybe help you with it.
Okay.
That's what I'll do. I'll go and do promotional work for a movie I've got no part of.
You can maybe be one of the babies. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work out.
I did look like a baby once.
Yeah.
A long time ago. Once I shaved my entire body in Winnipeg and I looked like a baby.
Too much, I think.
I was bored.
I bet you were a cute baby.
Nah, apparently not. Fat little whiner, they say.
Aren't all babies fat? No, they cry all the time. Or maybe just my
Is your baby a crier? Or?
No, actually he's not. He's really good natured. We've put him through a lot, and he's a truck. He just like trucks on.
That's great. No, I feel for you though. With 9-10 months old. Oh.
Yeah, no, there's no sleep. What do I do to make him sleep?
Nothing legal. Yeah.
Did you do the whole sleep training thing?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's tough, but it'll train you for how much pain you're going to be emotionally for the rest of your life.
True. And him, yeah.
Well, no,
they get over it, right?
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's you're the one that's going to be worried until you're old and then die.
This has been really uplifting. Thank you.
That's being a parent.
Yeah.
You'll never sleep with both eyes closed ever again.
You're right. I won't. I'll always forever worry about him.
Yeah. And yet, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I know.
It's the greatest love ever.
I know. It's the craziest. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, well, good times. Well, we're out of time. You do look amazing, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Me too. Marina Bagger, everybody.
Well, ain't that fun? The mic is peaking. Oh no, the mic is not peaking. That sound is the sound of my electric eraser. I'm just simply going and doing the erasing off the screen. What in the hell kind of bull is that? Just why? Fitting it was the red tent. When I think of Morocco, I think of the Simpsons bit where Homer asked Princess Grace lived there, and Lisa reminds him that was Morocco. That was Monaco. Monaco, yes. Yeah, that's what this is. Yes, yes, yes. And well, you now get a nice, good, full look at what page 13 turned out like. Very fun, very nice, very clean. The electric eraser did the job very well. And this is the last call, ladies and gentlemen. The last call for super chats, the last call for channel memberships, and the last call for donations into the store. And I do believe that seeing all these Craig Ferguson interviews will help not just me, but any other man out there on how to be able to charm women as ridiculously attractive as, you know, like that particularly immaculate French woman we saw. The naughty interview, the dirty, the filthy interview, they called it. Yes, that was a very filthy interview with that lovely, lovely French lady for us all to go and enjoy. I think it was a very good time. So until then, I want to thank you all for watching. Subscribe so the channel will reach 10,000 subs. Become a member today and shop my art store at the second link below, where you can buy my art or commission me or support me directly with a donation. Besides that, you can also go and in the store, you can go and buy issue 1 of my new comic book, Encrypted, where a regular copy is $5, an autographed copy is $10, an autographed and sketched in copy is $20, or you can subscribe to the comic for $60, or subscribe to the comic with autographs for $90. Tomorrow, I'll have new shorts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 and 6. I'll have a new video at 6:30, and I will be live again at 10. So until then, felines, slam it, lick it, suck it, and see you, Space Cowboy.